Today, we'll uncover how your kidneys, two small bean-shaped organs, perform one of the most vital roles in the body. Every minute, your kidneys filter your blood, remove toxins, balance electrolytes, and keep your body's internal environment in perfect harmony, a process known as homeostasis. Each kidney is located on either side of the vertebral column, just below the rib cage in the retroperitoneal space. They're each about 10 to 12 long, weigh around 120 to 150 grams, and receive nearly 20 to 25% of the cardiac output. That's about 1.2 liters of blood every minute. The kidneys perform several major functions. They excrete metabolic waste such as urea, uric acid, and creatinine. They regulate fluid balance, electrolytes, and acid-base equilibrium. And they act as endocrine organs, producing erythropoietin to stimulate red blood cell formation, renin to control blood pressure, and active vitamin D to maintain calcium metabolism. Internally, each kidney has three distinct regions: the renal cortex, the renal medulla, and the renal pelvis. The cortex is the outer granular zone. The medulla consists of renal pyramids and columns, and the pelvis is a funnel-shaped cavity that collects urine and passes it to the ureter. Blood enters through the renal artery, branches into smaller arterioles, and finally reaches millions of microscopic filtration units called nephrons, the true working units of the kidneys. Each kidney contains about 1 million nephrons. A nephron has two main parts, the renal corpuscle and the renal tubule. The renal corpuscle includes the Bowman's capsule and the glomerulus, where blood filtration begins. The renal tubule consists of the proximal convoluted tubule, the loop of Henle, the distal convoluted tubule, and the collecting duct. Blood enters the glomerulus through the afferent arteriole and exits via the efferent arteriole, a unique arrangement that helps regulate filtration pressure. The process of urine formation begins with glomerular filtration. The glomerulus acts as a filtration sieve. Blood pressure forces plasma through a three-layered filtration membrane: the capillary endothelium, the basement membrane, and the podocyte filtration slits of the Bowman's capsule. Water, glucose, amino acids, and small solutes pass through to form glomerular filtrate, while large molecules like proteins and blood cells remain in the bloodstream. As the filtrate flows through the renal tubule, about 99% of it is reabsorbed. This is tubular reabsorption. In the proximal convoluted tubule, nearly all glucose, amino acids, and most water are reabsorbed. The loop of Henle creates a concentration gradient. The descending limb allows water reabsorption, while the ascending limb reabsorbs sodium and chloride ions. The distal convoluted tubule and the collecting duct fine-tune the process under hormonal control, particularly through aldosterone and antidiuretic hormone. The next step is tubular secretion. Here, the nephron actively secretes ions such as hydrogen, potassium, and ammonium, along with certain drugs, into the tubular fluid. This step helps maintain acid-base balance and removes additional waste products from the blood. The final result is the fine adjustment of the urine composition. After filtration, reabsorption, and secretion, the remaining fluid becomes urine. It drains from the collecting ducts into the renal pelvis, through the ureters, and finally into the urinary bladder for storage. On average, about 1.5 liters of urine is produced per day from nearly 180 liters of filtrate, an amazing demonstration of efficiency. The kidneys are also under tight hormonal regulation. The renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, or RAS, controls blood pressure and sodium balance. When blood pressure drops, the juxtaglomerular cells of the kidney release renin. Renin converts angiotensinogen from the liver into angiotensin 1, which is then converted to angiotensin 2. Angiotensin 2 stimulates aldosterone release from the adrenal cortex, leading to increased sodium and water reabsorption, which raises blood pressure. Antidiuretic hormone, also known as vasopressin, is released by the posterior pituitary when the body's water level is low. It increases water reabsorption in the collecting ducts, preventing dehydration. Atrial natriuretic peptide, or ANP, is secreted by the atria of the heart when blood volume is high. It promotes sodium and water excretion to reduce blood volume and blood pressure. Erythropoietin is produced by the kidneys when oxygen levels in the blood are low. It stimulates the bone marrow to produce red blood cells, ensuring adequate oxygen transport in the body. A special structure called the juxtaglomerular apparatus helps regulate blood pressure and filtration. It consists of macula densa cells in the distal tubule, juxtaglomerular cells in the afferent arteriole, and extraglomerular mesangial cells between them. Together, they sense sodium concentration and blood pressure and adjust renin secretion accordingly. Let's summarize what we've learned. Your kidneys filter your blood, reabsorb essential nutrients, secrete unwanted ions, regulate blood pressure and pH, and produce hormones vital for life. Each drop of blood passes through your kidneys hundreds of times a day. Proof that these small organs play a massive role in maintaining balance and keeping you alive. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this visual explanation, subscribe to EazyMed for more medical videos that make complex concepts simple. Stay curious and keep learning.